In this episode, what to say or not to say.
Hi there, bridal couples to be.
Welcome to How to Get Married in Holland.
The ultimate wedding podcast of and about the Netherlands.
We, wedding ceremony experts, aka celebrants Daphne and Jasperin, share all ins and outs of getting married in our flat and fabulous country.
Enjoy listening. It's not to be or not to be, but in this episode it's all about what to say or not to say. And that is for us as officiants. What do we share or don't we share when it comes to your love story? Right, Jasperin?
Yeah. Of course, when we prepare, we ask a couple many questions because we want to get really close to a couple. Why? Because we want to truly translate their story, their way of being into a ceremony that fits them like a glove, that reflects them as who they are. And that's why we have to ask so many questions. But sometimes you get information because of that, things that are maybe not so nice, things about their past, things
Or a
that
bit
are,
too honest.
yes, a bit too honest, delicate things.
Yes.
So it's up to us to think, to reflect on that, and to think about what am I going to use or what am I not going to use.
Yeah.
Like delicate things.
Delicate things. But I think it's also important to share within this episode that it's very important, first of all, to find an officiant you really trust.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you can share in all open and honesty whatever comes to mind. And if you hire a professional who has really like a social antenna,
Mm-hmm.
he or she can filter, okay, this is maybe something we need to talk about.
Yeah.
How do we handle sensitivities?
Yes.
Are you okay with me framing it like this or using this metaphor?
Yeah.
Because, like you said, there could be some delicate things
Yes.
within a love story.
You said about metaphors. Can you give us an example?
Yeah,
About how to use a metaphor?
I had a couple, well, a few couples actually, who, life is all about hurdles and obstacles. And sometimes from the outside, sometimes from the inside. There were some doubts. They were supposed to get married a couple of years ago, and one of them got cold feet.
Okay.
And it really was a time in their lives that it was a make or break kind of situation. And they did manage to make it together. Okay. They went to therapy and they really grew as a couple. A very strong couple came out of all of this challenges in their lives, really.
Yeah.
So they made a very deliberate choice to get married, and this time for real. And they were full in, both of them. But everyone sitting there during their ceremony, they knew what happened. So at first they were like, well, we don't want to discuss the wedding that didn't happen. But then I said, well, that would be like a big elephant in the room, really.
Yeah.
Because everyone is aware.
Yeah.
And if you don't mention it, it becomes a thing. So I use the metaphor of them, you're walking the same path as a couple, but sometimes you head in different directions.
Yeah.
And then you have two options when you come at that crossroad. Do you say your goodbyes and each go your own way? Or do you find each other again? And maybe with a detour.
Yeah.
But they found each other again. And they were okay with me framing it like that.
That's a very nice way of putting it.
Yeah, and everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yes.
but you don't need to get in all to the details,
No,
or it's
exactly.
also the privacy of the
Yes,
couple, of
yes.
course. But then the story is complete.
Yeah,
And I think that's also very respectful for the growth they experience as a couple.
yeah. You say it. You say it. Everyone knows what it's
Yeah.
about, but you don't enter into details, and
Yes.
that's something. That's an art we have to master. There's no need to always, you know, explain everything in full
No.
details.
No, of
You can
course
say
not.
it in a different way, and that's also something that I use regularly when, for example, there are loved ones that cannot be there at the ceremony
Mm.
anymore. For example, like, it could be a parent that died, or a grandparent, or a best friend. Doesn't matter. That is a person who is so important, and who on that very, very special day is not going to be there. That's like a hole in the day. And why not say anything about it? But you know you can say something about it, but without making it a heavy thing. Just
Yeah.
mentioning it in one sentence, or even using a metaphor. It doesn't matter, as long as you say it without um, breaking the festive feel of the ceremony, because
Yeah.
he or she was an important person in the life of the bridal couple. So, and most couples, when I talk to them about that, they agree. They say, yeah, okay, just do say it, but don't make it like a heavy thing, because I don't want to start crying. And
Yes.
you can keep it. I mean, that you can even keep light. You can keep it light, but it is said, and
Yeah.
that's very, very valuable to the couple, because that person in that way is not forgotten.
Yeah,
So
because that's, the loved ones you miss are not only missed by the wedding couple itself, but
yeah,
also with the family present,
yeah,
of course.
yeah, yeah,
And sometimes, wedding couples, they doubt it a little bit.
mm,
So, well, I don't want to burst out in tears,
yeah,
have to grab myself together, or
mm,
ruin my makeup or
mm,
mascara, or
mm,
or I don't want it to be like a memorial
mm,
service.
mm,
But
mm.
like you said, just to know that there are options,
Yes,
and there are several ways you can, yeah, really respectfully remember your loved ones.
say
And
things. Yeah,
you know I always try to build in like a neutral bridge between the remembrance moment and
mm,
the love story.
mm,
For example, I introduced the wedding team.
mm,
So yeah, if you do have to grab a tissue,
mm,
doesn't matter.
mm,
Just
mm.
take a breather,
Yeah,
and your officiant will talk
yeah,
and see if you're okay, and then
yeah.
we'll get to your love story.
So as you said, it's all about the relationship between between the bridal couple and the officiant, how well you get to know each other, and the social antenna that you have, and together with them, building something that really reflects them, and then
Yeah,
knowing what to say or what not to say.
not to say, yeah,
Mm.
because it's like a co-creation.
Yes,
Of course,
yes.
it's your wedding
Mm.
officiant who is writing your
Mm.
speech.
Mm.
Of course, it's the wedding celebrant
Mm.
or officiant
Mm.
or registrar
Mm.
who is conducting the
Mm.
ceremony. But you know, you can only write a beautiful speech when you get great input.
Yeah,
So do
yeah,
share
yeah,
whatever you'd
yeah,
like to
yeah.
share, what you feel comfortable with,
Yes,
and discuss the
yes,
sensitivities
yes.
with your
Mm.
officiant. and
Mm.
and also it's a task for us to mirror it back to you,
Yeah.
because sometimes bridal couples can be a bit too honest, right?
Yes, yes, they can. It's something that happens every now and then. I mean, of course, they share their whole story, the ins and the outs.
The whole
The
enchilada.
Yeah, exactly. Something that I don't tend to talk about during the wedding ceremony is sex, I have to say.
Yeah,
And some couples do share things with me about sex. Like,
intimate things.
oof,
Yeah.
intimate things that you think, okay, thank you very much that you you tell me that that you love to have sex in funny places, or that she says that he is a great lover. That's really great to know, because I understand that the relationship is a full blown relationship, and that they are having fun in all senses. But I'm not going to mention that during the wedding ceremony with the parents there, or with children there. That I could maybe use a metaphor, or say one sentence, but I'm not going to say that her guilty pleasure is having sex in fun in funny places, in
Nee,
different places. No, for me that's a no
TMI,
go.
too much information.
Too much information.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
yes.
you can use a metaphor, like, because one of my questions is, what do you find attractive in your partner?
Uh huh.
And the groom was very specific when it comes to certain parts of her body.
Oof.
And then I discuss it with him. I can say, well, I can see she's a beautiful woman, and I can see how you appreciate those
Uh huh.
certain
Uh
parts.
huh.
But do you agree, or is it okay with you if I share you admire her female curves?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was quite okay. And then you have to, you touch the core message,
Yeah.
but you keep it
Yeah.
respectful
Yeah. Yeah.
and within the festive vibe.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing what people tell you?
Yeah, it is.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's a compliment. I see it as a compliment. I see it
I
as
do
a compliment
too.
because it means that people feel comfortable with you, and that
Yes.
they know 100% that you're going to, pick the right information to work into a ceremonial speech. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's it's
Yeah.
it's 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 funny. Are there other things that for you are a no-go area?
Um, Not really. Just what the couple self feels comfortable with. For
Hmm.
example, I once had a couple who were into BDSM,
Okay.
like bondage
Yeah.
and a power play,
Mm.
and it was a lifestyle they were very happy with.
Hmm.
However, not everyone knew about their lifestyle.
Okay. Yeah.
And they wanted to have a certain ritual within the ceremony, which is the
Okay.
rose ritual,
Hmm.
which is all about pain and pleasure.
Okay.
Uh, but they didn't want to reveal their lifestyle to
Okay.
those who weren't in their
Yeah.
inner
Hmm.
circle.
Hmm.
So we did use the rose,
Hmm.
but I gave it a meaning that was universal
Yes.
to love and life.
Yes.
So they were perfectly happy.
Yeah.
Um,
You say
and
it, but you
their
don't say it.
Yes, and
Yeah.
their privacy was respected as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
What about delicate things like, for example, people that say that they want to have a family?
yeah. That's also, of course, when you think about the future,
Hmm.
the wedding ceremony isn't just like a history lesson,
Hmm.
all looking back at their
Hmm.
relationship. You
Yeah.
also look at what do they mean to each other, what makes them a really strong couple, but
Hmm.
also looking at the future. And sometimes they do share. Yeah, we see kids in our future,
Yes.
but if we as wedding officiants share that information, it's out there like a neon
Yeah.
sign,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Above
it
their
makes,
heads.
and you will get inquiries like, oh, how are you doing on the,
Yeah.
are you already trying, ha ha
Yes.
ha.
Yes.
uh, but I also want to be respectful of the privacy of the
Mm.
couple.
Mm.
And I say, even if your loved ones suspect so
Hmm.
much or
Hmm.
know it already,
Hmm.
I don't have to say it out loud.
Mm. Mm. Yes.
Just let it reveal itself.
Yes. When
But
it's there.
sometimes I get to reveal that the bridal couple is expecting,
Yes.
which is a beautiful thing,
I had that
quite an
once as
honor.
well. Or yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah, very, very nice.
yeah.
Yeah,
So if they're okay with that revelation, that's a beautiful thing to
yeah.
say
A
during the
great thing to
ceremony.
it adds to the festivities.
Yeah,
So delicate things or not, we do have our no-goes, but we also have our way of putting things.
yeah,
So what to say or not to say, just trust us and we'll make it
yes.
work for a couple.
there's always a solution.
There's always a solution.
Okay, talk soon.
Bye. Thanks for listening to How to Get Married in Holland.
We look forward to share more about organizing your wedding day in the Netherlands in the next episode.
Hit the subscribe button so you won't miss anything.
Any questions in the meantime?
Please ask Wedding Celebrants Daphne or Jasperin. You can find us, plus the show notes, on Instagram.
And if you love this podcast, please leave a review.
It gives us a higher ranking, so more fun international couples with Dutch wedding plans will be able to find us.
Until next time.